Hi, I'm Alex Stoos, founder of Stoos Customs, where we're all about brutal simplicity. My journey has taken me all around the world, where I've met the most incredible people in the industry. I'm back now in Cape Town, South Africa, where I've built the headquarters of Stoos Customs. I would like to invite you in and show you how my amazing team and I customize, modify, and service these beautiful machines. Welcome to another episode of Stoos Crafted. In this episode, I take a trip to Descriptive Art Collective, where I meet up with Kayla Devlin and see what goes into the craft of this phenomenal, talented tattoo artist. A UK client requests a modification to a Triumph that needs to be ready for his summer vacation in South Africa, and we attend this year's Lightning Bolt event where the winner takes all. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode. So this is a client's big dog. It's in for rewiring. What happened was the turn signal module blew. What actually happened was whoever installed the battery previously swapped the terminals around and popped the module. So what we've got to do is we're busy rewiring it now, and because this module is discontinued, so we couldn't just order a new module from Big Dog. So now we actually have to rewire and install a Motor Gadget M unit. So we're busy with that, so the client can have the bike for December holidays. It's a bit of a tight push, but we're going to try our best to get it all done. All right, so we have finished wiring up the Big Dog with a new Motor Gadget M unit, which is linked to the cell phone, so it works off Bluetooth. And I can actually go into the Bluetooth settings and change any instruments I need to do on the bike. All right, so now I'm gonna just turn the bike on and get all the parameters set up. So you can see you've got all your different options that you can communicate with this module, from the different kind of handlebar setup you have, from tail light options to the blinkers, turn signals, brake light, alarm, and positioning light. So I've set up the turn signals to blink for 10 seconds and then it turns off automatically. You can also set it up that it works off the angle or the distance that you've traveled and it turns off. So everything's sorted now. I've wired up everything and I've programmed everything. Now I've just got to take off a test ride and make sure there's no electrical issues. All right, all sorted. No issues arise on the test ride, so it's ready to be delivered to the client.
All right, sweet. So this is a Sportster that came in. A customer wanted some extended fork stanchions, which I've already built. So this is the extended piece here. But upon riding the bike around from the front and taking delivery, I felt that the neck bearings were actually shot as well. So we've communicated with him and said that we're also going to be rebuilding the neck bearings, and his bike will handle like a different bike once this is done. So this is the fork. They normally sit there, obviously one on that side too, holds the front wheel in. These are about a 3-inch increase, so you can see the height difference is about there. So it's going to extend it, give a bit more of that chopper look. Alrighty, so this one's also getting a TC Bros chain conversion kit. So in here is the chain. Give you some nice sprocket bolts, and obviously front and rear sprocket will be in here as well. And there we go, some nice bling bling. Sprocket spacer, rear sprocket. Here's the chain, new sprocket bolts, high 10 style. And last but not least, the offset front sprocket. And then this is all you need to complete your chain kit conversion on your Sportster.
I must say, welding is definitely one of my favorite activities, if you want to call it that, in the shop. I've been doing it for probably the last 13 years. Where I used to work, I'd literally, once I was done sweeping the shop and doing my job, I'd pick up the welder and yeah, taught myself most of the time and got a few good tips as we went along from the guy at XL. But for the most part, you just need time in the seat and yeah, a lot of hours. Luckily, the last build I had, I spent probably about 60 hours just welding that exhaust. So yeah, I got a fair amount of practice under my belt, but still a lot to learn. My weapon of choice today is a 2018 Harley Roadster. We were originally commissioned by Monster Energy to build this for the 2018 Bike Festival. It's now made its way back to us and found a new home in Portugal, where we'll be shipping it off soon. So we named this build the Warlord. We wanted something that was very aggressive, but also user-friendly. So what we manufactured was the 316 stainless steel in-house. It's got the Stoos Customs bulleted air cleaner. A lot of work went into scalloping and sinking the dials into the tank because we wanted to really clean up the bars for that Stoos clean custom look with the turn signals and neutral lights incorporated into the bars. This is a Sportster 1200 engine which got plenty of grunt. So what we did was we just changed the tuning for the new air cleaner and the exhaust, and we put different rocker box covers on just to add to the aggressive look. So the wheels we left stock because they looked pretty kiff with the original build. All we did was throw a set of knobblies on to aid in that aggressive stance and look, and also to take it down a few dirt roads if need be. We did a fender chop and then machined the billet housing where it has the brake lights and the turn signals. We took LED spotlights that we've hidden behind a custom grid headlight that incorporates the turn signals in the side of it. Today we're off to Descriptive Art Collective, where we're going to meet up with Kayla Devlin to see what goes into the craft of tattooing.
I think an injection is definitely more terrifying than a tattoo needle.
I mean, this needle is going in and out like at the crazy speeds per second.
Yeah. And I mean, it's only like just gracing that top layer of the skin.
So when it comes to shading, and obviously the dark you want, is it like when you push down on a pencil?
You kind of build up the shade, whereas the way I tattoo, like I'm obviously using a liner.
Is that a less amount of needles, or?
Yeah, so this is only 3 needles. With a liner, sometimes if I do like press a little bit harder, it does affect the shade to make it a little bit darker. So the more I work over the shade, obviously the darker it's gonna get.
Okay, so you'd actually like then run over the same line. Yeah. I'm with you.
I water down the consistency.
Okay.
So that actually the shade is like more of a gray tone.
And now how long have you been tattooing for?
So I've been tattooing since 2012. So a real long time. But in between, I went to go study graphic design.
Okay.
The second I finished studying, I kind of dived deep. I started tattooing every single day, so I think that's when I kind of started picking up the craft a little bit more.
And I mean, like, it's quite a transition, because obviously I'm sure you've been creative in school and maybe as a kid.
Yeah.
Now to actually pick up a tattoo gun and like, okay, I'm gonna go for it.
Yeah.
Did you practice on yourself first, or?
So actually, I think like the way my apprenticeship was a little bit different. I actually tattooed on, oh, it was so gross, but I tattooed on pig skin.
Okay, yeah.
For my first time, and it was actually the word tats. Real original. And my mom left it in Domestos for like a whole day before she allowed me to like bring it inside the house. Like, oh, there was still like a nipple on the skin. It was so gross. Oh.
Try and make it as realistic as
Yeah,
possible.
literally. And I was like, oh, why would the butcher give me like the one with the nipple?
So what, did you just go to the butcher and you're like, hey, I need some pig skin?
And like, well, yeah, that's what I was told to do.
Yeah.
Did it, it was weird, never again. I do not wish it on anyone, but I don't think anything can prepare you for what actual skin is like.
Yeah. The person you're tattooing, everyone reacts differently as well.
Yeah, as you can see, Maxine is very still.
And is it like a typical genre you like sticking to? Are you pretty open to all ideas?
For subject matter wise, I tattoo, I think, anything.
Okay.
But obviously just to render it in my style. I love the challenge of trying to make something that's a trend more unique.
Yeah.
So I absolutely love a floral.
Okay.
I love florals.
Okay.
I love anything fine line. I do love doing like geometric pieces. Anything in that realm, call me up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The ribs take the cake, eh?
No. Yeah, I've got both my ribs done, and I actually don't think it is that bad. I think the worst is probably like your hips, lower back, and surprisingly enough, the bums. I think most people would say that the ribs are probably the most tricky to tattoo, just because of like the indentations where the ribs are. So like obviously like you get the actual like dips. But
I guess also depending on the client as well, what the physique is. And
there was one lady that I tattooed on the ribs, and Shane, she's so lovely, but she only let me tattoo for 3 seconds at a time because it was so painful.
So you mentioned you started tattooing in 2012. Has it taken you around the world or mainly in South Africa?
So I'm actually leaving to go tattoo in London from the 27th of December coming up now.
Awesome.
So I'm super excited. It's going to be my first time tattooing over there. For the meanwhile, I've traveled to Germany and tattooed in Hamburg for I think it's been 3 times now altogether. And I absolutely love it. I do think my end goal is just to keep traveling and meeting you. It's such a nice way to meet artists and especially see them work and pick up new tips and tricks.
It's a good energy to be in.
Yes, yeah.
And also you learn so much as well, working with different artists. And as a tattoo artist in South Africa, obviously, you look in internationally at a big convention, so it's always a lot more accessible to grow as an artist.
Yeah.
On an international level, how is South Africa in the tattoo industry?
I think that, we're definitely coming up in the industry, and, we're definitely people, the amount of artists that have started tattooing in South Africa now, we're definitely putting South Africa on the map. The artists in Cape Town and Joburg and just really the whole of South Africa, they're really doing incredible stuff. And I think we'll get to that European and American standard in no time.
The biggest thing is a lot of people are traveling now, so they book like 3 months there in South Africa, then 4 months there in the States.
Yeah.
So it seems like that's quite a popular thing to do, to just travel around and maybe have a small studio somewhere or just work out of another one like you mentioned.
Yeah, no, so true. Also, another one done.
Boom. Another 2.
Yeah, another 2.
Out of all of them, is there like one that stands out the most that you're like, man, this is my favorite, or it was a memorable moment?
I think funnily enough, Max actually has my favorite tiny tattoo I've ever done. It's a little hummingbird on her shoulder. You know, it was such a cute one to do, and I absolutely adore doing the small little dainty ones.
All right, so we got a call from a guy in London that is going to be vacationing here in December that wanted a few mods done. So he purchased this brand new 2023 Bonneville with 3 kilometers on the clock, and we're going to make a few little changes, nothing too crazy, but he just said he cannot ride a standard bike. So we've removed the stock fender and the big bulky tail section, and we're incorporating the turn signals, brake light and running light in this nice billeted housing, turn signal housing. This will sit nice and cleanly under the stock seat, so you don't have that bulkiness of the stock stuff. Then we're going to get rid of the mirrors and put nice Motor Gadget bar end mirrors with turn signals on it. So we've got nice clean bars. We're then going to move to the front and we're going to remove the stock fender and fabricate a small Hugger custom fender. He also requested more of a dirt bike style tires just to give it an aggressive look. So that's pretty much the extent of this custom, so that it's ready for him in December so he can cruise around in style.
What I'm going to be busy with is top clamp risers. These are the pullback risers to raise the handlebars. So this is going to raise them, and those are the top clamps that's in the machine right now. So we'll be starting up the machine again. We'll be doing the top clamps for the pullback bar risers. So what I like to do is I always like to put my hand control feed on, turn him down to 0, which it already is on there. Wrap it on 5. This is just so that we can work with the safety, so that you can make sure nothing else goes wrong on the machine, or if something does go wrong, the machine is so slow that you will be able to stop it in time.
Good morning guys, welcome. Lightning Bolt 2022.
So we're just day 1 of the Lightning Bolt. We just got back from the test ride. There were 12 competitors and the bikes are absolutely on point. There's a mixture from Joburg, PE, but the talent we have in South Africa is phenomenal. Luckily everything went well on my bike. I'm going to have a meeting with the judge shortly just to tell them everything I've done on my bike, and then that's day 1 wrapped up.
What do you think about the bike?
Brilliant, man. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I think they're all work of art. I mean, the BMW here is brilliant. This Honda is just crazy. It's It's beautiful, man. It's absolutely beautiful.
Generally, the standard is top class this year. The build quality is top notch.
How's the competition looking today?
It's very good, I must say. We think we have the most character of any motorcycle here, but there's a silver BMW at the bottom there that, I don't know, the build quality on that and the hand rolling is just absolutely stunning.
What do you think of the builds here?
I think they're superb. I really do. There's a nice collection of different bikes, so it's interesting. It's not like one thing. It's like there's a lot of variety. I think it's quite cool.
And if you could vote for the winner here today, who would it be?
There's a black one just up there that's quite a cool one. I think I like that. The guy welded the exhaust. So it's an amazing piece of art.
That's actually Stoos Customs. That's right there, Alex, right there. Build that.
Well, I think you must give him a compliment. Amazing bike.
So if the public could vote, your vote would be for Stoos Customs?
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you think about the bikes here today?
Well, the bikes are amazing. The builders are all very cool. I'm having a great time just looking at the different design styles. I think it's a really good show of what South Africans can do with motorcycles, which is interesting actually. That Harley at the top there, that crazy ass Art Deco retro thing is very cool as well.
So do you have a winner in mind?
I think the BMW clad in aluminium is going to do it. I think the amount of hours going into building something like that is phenomenal, and not everyone's taste, but I think the absolute artisan that builds something like that. So a complicated build, and yeah, I think it's in with a chance.
Okay, so yeah, as you can see, there's a lot happening. The Lightning Bolt's been a great success this year, full of enthusiasts. There's a lot happening. We've got great bands, good music, good food, good booze. So it's been a successful event, regardless of the outcome. So yeah, it's been an amazing day out at the House of Machines. This brings our first season to an end, and we look forward to bringing you more custom builds, modifications, events, and more. Be sure to follow us on social media to keep up to date with all that's happening with Stoos Customs.